Rene Ricarmier and Mike Howard received penalties after the Waltham 250. Howard had 25 championship points deducted from him for pretty much stopping in front of the entire field and causing a wreck. And Ricarmier will have to start in the rear of the field in this week's race for causing a collision in the pit lane. However, he still went out and set the pole time for his round in today's race. Ricarmier will still be sent to the back, but he will receive 3 bonus points for setting the fastest time. In other news, Shane Lake will be running the remainder of the 2011 season in an 82D car for Pearson Sweeney Motorsports, but we still don't know what his plans are for 2012. And now I will hand it off to our special guest, Dan Mullen, for the race.
Thank you very much, Earl. Taking out the Smash Beer Pole Award for Race 1 is Cedric Dejal, the number 37 MRD Motorsports, the Moto. On the outside of the front row is Packer Carroll, the number 71 Volpe for Gravity Racing. Coming into turn 1, Dejal throws the block on Packer Carroll, but coming out of turn 1, Packer Carroll, the 71, has a much better run out. Dejal throws the block, runs a little bit wide, coming out, gets on the curb, and now Dejal's all over the racetrack, trying to keep the 71 behind him. That's the kind of blocking that not too many people appreciate, so I can't imagine Dejal's earning himself too much respect in the opening couple of corners here. Little 2 La Coya Brute cars. The Kelly Splice and Barry Spangler Patriot Racing machines are running towards the back of the pack. This team builds everything in-house, and they don't exactly have the largest sponsorship bill in the series, so I can't say I'm too surprised, and they're doing a good job with what they have. And you see, oh, we got Spangler onto the curbs a little bit. That's not exactly a good thing to do. DJ Daniels and Dale Underwood are going to play a little bumper tag on lap 2, send the 78 car of Daniels into the wall. Can't imagine he was happy about that. Coming up the S. Oh, we got panel beaters alert as Henrietta Laverne, I think, and Mumba Kamangu made contact. Alright, we're watching Kamangu. It's the white car. You can barely read the number on it. Gets punted by Laverne. Goes into the wall. Libby Bell gets a piece. Zach Brandt, a 609 car, and Lucas Hunter fails to use the brakes. I think that's Jason Tell in the other Xenos car. Alex Carson, I know, is in it. Another one of the Pearson Sweeney cars, Andy Pearson in it. I think Nick Howard almost got in. Oh! And Kamangu pulls right to the side of Pearson and then gets whacked by Lucas Hunter. So Mumba Kamangu just pulls over Andy Pearson for no good reason. You got a mirror there, son. Please use it. Harry Asinola, the former Marine drill sergeant, comes a little wide, coming off the final turn, brushes the wall. Enola is the epitome of discipline in this series, and it's very rare to see him make a mistake like that. Enola's had a fairly anonymous season so far. He hasn't won yet, but he's still running strongly today. Shane Lake in the 82D car for Pearson Sweeney Motorsports is running 20th on lap 4. He's the hottest free agent for 2012, according to himself and nobody else. Lake is running behind his teammate Lucas Sweeney and is doing an okay job in this car so far. We'll have to wait and see how the rest of the season goes. He'll be in that car the rest of the year. Mike Howard in car 610. He got a penalty at Waltham, and he penalized himself with this bit of driving right there. Just drives himself straight into the wall. Oh, look out! Barry Spangler, nowhere to go. Marks against Howard for that very over-exuberant piece of driving coming into the last turn. Michael Madrigal, car number 64, goes a little wide in the last turn, brushes the wall. This is the car that Chris Johans won a pair of championships in, so we know that this 64 team definitely knows how to win a championship. Michael Madrigal has really been overshadowed by some of his teammates this year. There's Edwin Schwartzlowski on the inside of him, but he's also had his share of good runs in that 64 car. Scott Dalitz won a drift competition earlier in the week. Not going to win this one today after slamming that Dalitz family racing car into the tires. It's good to see a family team is still able to operate at this high level of motorsports and to be competitive as Dalitz has been on occasions this season. This 18 car has got a rather bright paint job. It's hard to miss it. On track now. Coming in, here's Michael Madrigal. Brakes way too late, loses the rear end of the car, tries to save it, but not enough. And he just lightly kisses the wall there, the Armco. Here is Jeremy West in car number 77 on lap 12. He's running in 11th. That's one of his better runs of the season. And that's kind of a good thing because Jeremy West, we really haven't heard too much from him this year. And with a paint job like that, I hope he runs well because that's one of the better looking cars in this series, that number 77 car. Jeremy West has really been making some name for himself as being a little anonymous in this series. Joseph Howard, car number 17, the three-time Master Cup champion, and Rybert Scott, that 33 car, have caught the leaders. Howard in the 17 is not having too much of a problem getting around Laura Cyrus in the 50, who's replacing the injured Leslie Riggs. We do hope Leslie Riggs gets back in that car as soon as possible. And you see Rybert Scott there challenging Joseph Howard. Rybert Scott driving very, very aggressively today in that 33 car. And he's going to demonstrate his frustrations by driving straight through the back of the 50 car without really trying to pass Laura Cyrus in that 50 car for position. And then Rybert Scott, wow, he's all over the place. That 33 car, he's not really earning himself too many friends with that maneuver. At least from the 50 camp, that is. Still on lap 14 as we have Alex Carson and Damian Snyder coming into the chicane. Wow, Snyder brakes way too late. Way too late. That wasn't even close. Takes himself and Alex Carson off the track. That was way over his head there. Snyder goes way too late. Carson had the spot. Snyder didn't want to give up. Takes himself and Carson. Wow, and he drove himself into the tires. That is definitely someone who should know better than that. Of all the Riggs Motorsports drivers, Damian Snyder has, in my view, been the least impressive this year. He's been fairly consistent, but that's really about it. Here's Rachel Rainsford, same lap, lap 14. Does the exact same thing Scott Dalitz does. Throws the car off into the scenery. Kvyat was recently bought out by Volpe, so this team could have some backing from the rather large Volpe Racing team in the TM Master Cup Series side. So that could be an upturn in form for them next year. I think that's where Motor Assault Racing's focus has been placed. Rachel Rainsford will most likely be retained by the team. Here's Packer Carroll. Lap 14 as well. Whoa, as Deja goes wide. Looks like Deja may have finally used up his tires. Packer Carroll just drives around them. Oh, but Deja's got a good run down the front straightaway, but we all know that the Volpe VC03 has one of the better brake packages in the series. They've done so on the Master Cup side. Packer Carroll makes the move around the outside in turn 1, and he makes it stick. Packer Carroll takes over the lead of the race. Great move by Packer on the outside of turn 1. You'll notice also Joseph Howard and Rybert Scott are making some serious headway in the background. Cars 17 and 33 are really making a march towards the front. Phil Summers, car number 91, is one of the Griesberger Racing cars. He's really been quite anonymous this year. This is one of his better runs of the year, running in 12th place. Summers, there's been some reports that one of his teammates, Dan McKay, may be replaced at Griesberger Racing, and depending on what rumors you believe, Phil Summers himself might be replaced. So it looks like he's responded to those rumors by putting on a pretty good show today. This is one of his best runs of the year, and if there were some rumors that I might be replaced at a team, I think I might decide to put on one of the best performances of the year after being anonymous all season. Bigsby Foots hit the wall earlier in the race, and now he's running off the track, and he's not making the leader's life terribly difficult, as he gives them both a lane to run around him on the outside. Car number 14. Look in the background, though. You see a good battle developing between Edwin Schwartzlowski and David Krikorian for 6th place. Schwartzlowski wins that battle. DK down to 7th. He's got CJ Cameron breathing down his neck. And DK loses the car, loses the rear end under braking, and he throws away 7th place into the tires, and into the Armco, and DK out of the race on lap 17. Cedric Dejoux and Joseph Howard encounter a log jam of lapped cars. Howard gets pushed into the wall after contact with Bigsby Foot in the 14 car, and he just got taken out of podium contention, so I can't imagine the MRD Motorsports people are going to be too happy about that, and if they protest this, I will not disagree with them. Howard is going to lose several positions, and despite how much damage risked to the 17 car, he continues to stay in the fight. Packer Carroll leads the field into green flag pit stops on lap 19, with bringing in Cedric Dejoux in the 37 car, and I think Edwin Schwartzlowski also opted to come in. Bruce Wilkinson assumes the lead of the race, and he displays to the rest of the field how not to handle back markers. He just drives straight into the back of the 14 car. A Bigsby Foot puts him on top of the guardrail, and probably scaring a couple of the marshals up there. That's a bit unnecessary. You are having a very strong run. You don't need to be wrecking back markers like that. That's, well, a little bit ridiculous if you ask me. I've been a bit underwhelmed by Bruce Wilkinson this year. That just continues that trend as CJ Cameron leads Rip Tyler, Wilkinson, and Jeremy West into the pit lane. And you see, whoa, who's that in the background that just almost hit the pit wall? Was that Dan McKay in the 10? Looks like Rybert Scott may have been off the road a bit earlier. Packer Carroll is in the lead of the race. CJ Cameron is second. Third is CJ Dejoux. Then it is Rip Tyler. Jeremy West, Schwartzlowski. Car number 7, Bruce Wilkinson, sits in 7th place. In 8th is Phil Summers. 9th is Lucas Sweeney. And 10th is Libby Bell. And here is Siju Dejiao setting up CJ Cameron with a great move around the outside here. As Siju Dejiao in that 37 car having a very, very strong run today. Probably the most inspired drive we've seen from him in quite some time in this MRD Motorsports the Moto. MRD Motorsports at least has to be happy about that. Here's a move, here's an onboard view. He's gotten stuck behind the Lycoya of Barry Spangler, who's really had a pretty miserable day. With 6 laps to go, Barry Spangler is impeding the 37 car of Siju Dejiao, but it really looks like that the 111 car is fighting a loose condition with his car, and it's really hard to let the leaders go by and you're trying to keep yourself from wrecking every lap. So that looks a bit reasonable. For a reasonable period of time for the 111 car to let Dejiao go by. Here's Bruce Wilkinson in car number 7 on lap 24 of 27, and he just spins in the chicane and throws another top 10 result out the window, and that could have been so much more. Wilkinson continues to underwhelm this season. Here we are with the Calamity Cousins from earlier in the race. Oh, didn't these two get together earlier? Oh, gee, didn't DJ Daniels just try a little bit of revenge there? Gee, that certainly didn't work. DJ Daniels did nothing but make a fool of himself right there, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the Ultra Fury Racing garage got a kick of that. Edwin Schwartzlowski in car 66, Rip Tyler car 16, make a little bit of contact, and Rip Tyler goes off the course. Rip Tyler had a very strong run going today, and that's a shame that happened. Dale Underwood isn't done running in other cars. That's Zach Branch in the 609. He runs under the back of Branch. Branch goes up in the air a little bit. In that 609 car, Dale Underwood has really had a problem with other cars being in front of him today. So that's another car that Dale Underwood has made contact with. That's on the white flag lap, I might add. Packer Carroll in car number 71 has really not had too much in the way of competition today. As soon as he got onto the lead, you can see he pretty much just drove away. And now Packer Carroll cruises home to the win here at Watkins Glen. It was a pretty dominant performance from Packer Carroll. As soon as he got up into the front, he was pretty much unstoppable. And this is the kind of drive that we think will get him into the TM Master Cup Series full-time next year. Siju Dejiao takes second for MRD Motorsports. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that team along with MRD Motorsports themselves. CJ Cameron revitalizes his season with another podium finish, third in the White Mountain car. Edwin Schwartzlowski backs up his strong Waltham showing with another strong run here today in 4th place in the M&J 66. Jeremy West, top 5 in the Patterson Autosports 77 car. Good job for Jeremy West. That team certainly needs that. Phil Summers also is doing his future in ARLA a lot of good by coming home 6th today. Coming home in 7th place, Libby Bell in the Power Singer Incorporated Patriot Cola 24. And in 8th, Lucas Sweeney, the Brit, comes home in 8th place in the Pearson Sweeney Motorsports car. Another strong run for Lucas. 9th place, Dan McKay. There's been some rumors he'll be replaced next year. Clearly, he's doing a good job in that 10 car, hopefully to silence those rumors. And Chuck Bloomers, best career finish for the Bloomers family racing team. Given a round of applause for that underfunded operation. As Earl mentioned, Rene Ricarmier won the Smash Beer Pole Award for race 2. However, he didn't start on the pole due to the fact that he incurred penalties from Waltham. Brenda Riggs started from the race in 1st place, and she's going to lead the field down into turn 1. Taylor Brillin in that really obnoxiously colored blue, yellow, and orange 65 car tries to take over the lead on the outside in turn 1. However, Brenda Riggs denies her teammate the spot. Brillin is still trying to fight for that lead position, but Brenda Riggs does have the preferred line, and she is eventually going to clear the 65 car. Coming around down to the back straightaway, there we go. Brenda Riggs finally clears Taylor Brillin and is going to assert a lead in the race. First lap, Tyson Lautenschlager is going to get punted from behind by Gary D'Souza in a scary incident. Lautenschlager hits a bump, almost goes over the guardrail. That would have been scary if that had been the case. In that car number 70, so Lautenschlager goes out of the race on the first lap. Todd Stater and Nico Petrov coming into the chicane and turn on lap 2. Stater gets into the side of Petrov. Petrov doesn't think too kindly of that and decides to run into the 150 car coming out. That's a little foolish on the part of both drivers. It's a little early in the race to be doing something like that. I think Nico Petrov should probably learn to cool his temper just a little bit at the wheel of that 20 car. That's probably cost him a couple of very good results. He's been impressive kind of on and off this year. Rene Ricarmier on lap 3 is running in 30th place. He's currently running 2nd in the championship, and some people think he is the favorite because Kevin Monroe's lead has been slowly evaporating. Ricarmier in the 0 car is driving for the Wiper Ildes team. He is a team car to Gary D'Souza in the 149 car. Ricarmier is currently, got a problem with Hawk Slider here in the 070 car. Looks like a tire went down. Hawk Slider's had a pretty disastrous season. We're not sure whose fault it is, whether or not it's his fault, the car's fault, or just the product of bad luck. But Hawk Slider has really had a pretty miserable year so far. Scott Morales in lap 5 gets punted by Amy Harrison, and he goes over a couple of times. Amy Harrison, the 102, just got in the back of Makoto Yamada, Benji Flynn, and that was Leigh Gruelle that just arrived late to the party in that yellow and red 46 car. See the rest of the field funneling through. Looking from the aerial shot here is the 76 of Morales. He is going to get... Yeah, there's Amy Harrison. Just leans on his rear bumper for so long. Yamada didn't have anywhere to go there. And there you see Benji Flynn getting collected. And Leigh Gruelle arrives very late into that mess. Not quite sure if Gruelle just didn't see it or in time or what the deal was there. Ebenezer Quiggles Jr. in the Division by Zero car made ARLA history at the 150 laps of Dwyer when he became the first driver to start an ARLA race who raced from the country of Sealand off the coast of England. You see Quiggles Jr. having a very strong run early in the race. He's running in 10th place. Right now, he is sponsored by the Marcus Leonard Institute of Division by Zero, and I think that's a good thing that we see an educational institution as a sponsor on an ARLA Elite Series car. Quiggles Jr. also is a pair of Team Lights wins. A little further back in the pack, Billy Bob Bradburn and AJ Young in the EY Wheelbarrows 55 car make contact. That was definitely Bradburn's fault. He went in there way over his head in that 04 car. Yevgeny Kuznetsov is going to pit his Tolyatti after making some contact with the wall that caused a puncture on this car. This is Tolyatti's first ever ARLA Elite Series start, and I think they brought the exact same car they attempted to qualify for the round of Indianapolis with in the Master Cup Series. Makoto Yamada is holding up Ebenezer Quiggles Jr. Quiggles doesn't appreciate that, and Yamada decides to drive straight back onto the racetrack and wreck Quiggles and Kariki Hatsuno in the 06 car. And Quiggles Jr. coming back onto the racing line takes out Kyle Gaffigan in the 05 car. Now, I can't imagine Ebenezer Quiggles Jr. is going to take that too kindly, especially because Makoto Yamada was, to be fair, a moving chicane. And Ebenezer Quiggles Jr.'s day has gone from great to terrible in a hurry. Amy Patty in the 73 car is running in the top 5. Despite that, she's pretty much guaranteed she won't be returning to this car next season. The Gold Star Security Nemoto having a great run so far, but then again, didn't the other MRD Motorsports cars have a great run in the other race? So it looks like the Nemotos in particular seem to have an affinity for this track. Here's Rene Ricarmier running in 15th place. That's Derek Dudding, that really slow, annoying pink car. And, oh, Dudding gets put in the wall by Ricarmier, and Ricarmier's got damage from 15th place. Rene Ricarmier is going to lose a ton of track position because of Derek Dudding. And now he's going to lose a position to Wesley Savage, it looks like. He's already lost position to one of the Xenos cars. Xenos in particular seem to have a phobia about putting halfway decent numbers in their cars. Anyway, lap 11, Amy Patty and Gary D'Souza collect the lap car of Benji Flynn. They go off the track. D'Souza and Flynn decide to try to make a road through the Armco. Amy Patty hard into the wall, and that's going to be a huge disappointment for Patty, who had a great run going today. Battle for the lead here on lap 12. Kevin Monroe makes a dive into Brenda Riggs, and they make contact. Monroe and Riggs go off the road. They were first and second. Monroe came in as the championship leader. This is going to really help Rene Ricarmier and Allie Riggs and in their title bids. Brenda Riggs clearly not impressed with Kevin Monroe, and I don't really blame her there. But Monroe is making a very aggressive dive for the lead of the race. I don't really think he needs to do that, because considering Ricarmier's rather poor showing so far, he's way down after making contact with Derek Dudding, and Brenda Riggs clearly expresses her distaste for that. These two are teammates, not only that, and that's the last person you want to wreck is your teammate. Taylor Brillin, on the other hand, inherits the lead in the 65 car, pretty much just inherits it, and Ricky Flush in the 31 car running in second place. Now that 31 car of Ricky Flush is running fairly highly in the championship standings, so this could be a good points day for Flush. Anthony Griffith in the 00 Gravity Racing Volpe is going to lose the rear end of that car and slide off the track. He's really not had a very good season so far. Despite that, we believe he's going Master Cup racing next year with Power Steering Incorporated. In fact, I believe that's going to be announced tomorrow, that is going to happen. However, Anthony Griffith, clearly he must have his mind on that more than here. On lap 13, Ashley Tucker in the 155 Jaguar racing car is running in 6th place. I understand there's a little bit of a bet going on between Ashley Tucker and former driver of this car, Shane Lake, and if Ashley Tucker can finish in the top 5 with this car, she gets something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it looks like she's on her way to doing that. having a very strong run in this 155 car and clearly showing that she can do everything that Shane Lake couldn't at this rate, it looks like. Renee Ricarmier in the 0 car throws that car off the track on lap 18 all by himself. That's not the kind of thing that wins you championships, son. Get back to it. There you go. He gets the car back going, and Ricarmier returns to the fight. We got on lap 19. Looks like there might be more trouble here. Yeah, that's Bob Steffens, the 211, and Ebenezer Quiggles Jr. Quiggles just runs the turn wide, runs into the side of, well, that's just Quiggles Jr.'s day has gone from good to bad and from bad to terrible. And the 211 car kicks off green flag pit stops. I'm not sure if that's because he's concerned about damage to his car after making contact with Ebenezer Quiggles Jr. Here is the 65 car of Taylor Brillen, who was leading the race. She couldn't hit the pit lane because of the A.J. Young car. Now, what was A.J. Young doing there? Well, that's certainly not going to earn A.J. Young too many fans, especially in the 65 pit right there. Taylor Brillen has to stay out an extra lap, even though I don't think she intended to. Jason Bates in the 51 car is, well, he's going to make contact with the 3 car, the Talbot Arshtick car, and he hits the wall, and then he tries to come in the pits, but, oh, wait, you've passed pit entry. You got to go all the way around the track. That's what happens when you make contact with other cars and then run into walls right near the pit entry, so you kind of get what you deserve there. Taylor Brillen leads after the pit stops, but she's got a lot of damage to that car, and here comes Talbot Arshtick in that number 3 car. Here he comes. Wodarshik's had a very good, strong season so far, despite not being in this car the whole season. He won one of the races at Vertigo, and here he is again, having another bid at the lead of the race. He sort of snuck upon this one. Taylor Brillen doesn't bother fighting that position. I don't know why you wouldn't, and try to get the 3 car to use up his tires or something and try to hold them up. That was a very, very meek way to give up the lead of the race by Taylor Brillen, as Talbot Arshtick, the ex-GRL driver and ex-Master Cup driver, moves into the lead of the race. His ARLA career, I think, has really, really boosted his image. And Kurt Walker here in that 98 car. Talking about boosting your image. Kurt Walker, some people saying he's past it, he maybe should retire. There he goes. He's back into 2nd place. I'd say Kurt Walker is still competitive, and he's still running very well in these ARLA Elite Series races. And Kurt Walker continuing to show that he still has what it takes to win races and to run at the front. Kurt Walker sneaking up on this one as of right now. Here we are with Wesley Savage in car number 6, and he is running in 6th place. This is one of his best runs of the season. So Wesley Savage clearly having a very, very strong run so far. He's had a fairly savage season, if I'm allowed to use the pun. And Wesley Savage in that 6th car. Hopefully this brings a lot more results, because I think he's definitely a driver that deserves them after all the hardship he's been through. I think that's the best he can do right now. Coming off the final corner, not really challenged by anybody and pulling away to a rather large lead, Talbot Arshtick wins his 2nd ARLA Elite Series race here at Watkins Glen. This car number 3 makes it another Gravity Racing sweep of 2 ARLA races. Talbot Arshtick in car number 3. In 2nd position, Kurt Walker in car 98, showing that he still has what it takes to run well. Wesley Savage got around a very tight battle at the end of the race between Ricky Flush in car number 31 to take home 3rd place. Ricky Flush, another strong run in the White Mountain Motorsports 31. It's a good point stay for Flush, and that's what he needs right now. And Kyle Eckerton in the 47 Xenos finished the day in 5th position. 6th place is Taylor Brillen. All that damage really hampered that car towards the end of the race. And in 7th position in the car 211 is Bob Steffens in the Big Bunny Racing car. Steffens had a fairly solid run all day long. 8th place, Yevgeny Kuznetsov. Very good job for the debutant driver. Looks like that early pit stop certainly didn't hurt him that much. And Ashley Tucker comes home 9th in the top 10, just a couple spots shy of winning her bet with Shane Lake. Jason Bates in the Carl Link car rounds out the top 10 in the 2nd race. And now let's have a look at the point standings leaving Watkins Glen. Kevin Monroe's lead continues to evaporate as Rene Ricarmier continues to close the gap. He finished 20th in race 2. Allie Riggs finished 19th in race 2. So they didn't exactly have the best days either, but it looks like they're still continuing to evaporate. Monroe's lead. CJ Cameron in 4th. Jacob Eichholz had a strong 11th place in race 2. A good job for him. Joseph Howard suffers a little bit after tripping over some lap cars in race 1. Harry Esanola in 8th place in the championship, continuing to have a strong season in the Riggs Motorsports car. Bigsby Foote, I think this is going to be a day he's going to want to forget. Foot finds himself in a tie with Taylor Brillin for 9th place. And now let's have a look at 11 through 20. Former champion Andy Pearson still having a strong run this season. It looks like he could be a contender for a top 10 position in the championship. Edwin Schwartzlowski continues his strong rookie campaign. Michael Madrigal continues a very consistent season. Brenda Riggs in the 67 car probably could have had a good point stay if she didn't trip over a banana peel called Kevin Monroe. Rip Tyler in the 16 car having a pretty strong season so far. Power Steering Incorporated in general having a very strong ARLA campaign as Rip Tyler and Libby Bell both find themselves in the top 20 in points. Leigh Gruelle in the 46 car finds himself 18th in the championship. Gary D'Souza has pretty much been blown out of the weeds by his teammate. One man who certainly knows what it's like to get blown out of the weeds by your teammates is in 20th place. That's Cedric Dejoux driving for MRD Motorsports, who's been embarrassed over there by Joseph Howard, Amy Patty, etc. I don't know where this recent burst of form came from Cedric Dejoux, but it certainly boosted his image in the eyes of his peers.